have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Good morning, everybody. I am Jason Bermas. This is Reality Rants brought to you by redvoicemedia.com. And I was going to begin the show today a little bit more gleeful, a little bit more happy, if you will. Talking about artificial intelligence, artwork, prompts. It finally got integrated into Photoshop, and because of that, I've been playing around with it quite a bit. Okay? All that we're going to do, but I woke up to what is just totally and completely nutso to me, totally crazy, and it just shows you never know how much time you have or what's going to happen on the planet. Frantic search for survivors after 6-story apartment building in Iowa partially collapses during repairs, with fears dozens of residents who complained about issues for years are unaccounted for. And this is downtown Davenport. This is maybe, I don't know, that's maybe a 5-10 minute drive from my house. I was just down in that area with my good friend Todd McGreevy, who has been a guest here several times. Heads up the RC Reader downtown, and just the facade of that entire building collapsed. Wild. And yeah, lower income part of the neighborhood. People couldn't afford other things. It's sad. As of now, they've rescued 7 people, but I just got a picture and a video from somebody I know on the scene, and it's pretty brutal, man. It's pretty brutal, and it hits home. So you think about your neighbors, your friends, your family, and you just kind of take a step back. And I know a lot of people are doing that via, the fact it's Memorial Day today, and a lot of veterans are going to be celebrating, or families of veterans. And especially those that may have lost loved ones during conflicts, etc. So, a kind of a somber day to begin with. I don't like being somber. I don't like not having a bunch of energy and being upbeat. And we're definitely going to try to be upbeat. It's funny, I was reading the comment section the other day, and someone was asking whether or not I had a pet bird. No. I do not have a pet bird, but what happens is I have next to my porch here in this office. One of the reasons I moved up into this office, other than the horrid electric downstairs and the fact that it had to be done, was I moved it into a room that I could open the window, enjoy nature. This place heats up. Even when the AC is on full throttle, the gear in here heats the place up to an extent where I've got to open that door, or I get a sweaty mess by the second hour. And because I'm opening that door, I can hear the birds a-chirping. And you can, it's a slider. You can hear the birds a-chirping. And there's nothing wrong with a little sunshine and some chirping birds. In fact, with that, it usually helps me get my day going. What are we going to be doing today? Tons of stories to go over, but because of the integration of artificial intelligence into Photoshop, I thought we'd have fun. And I was going to go to your questions and comments, and basically you guys are going to choose what we prompt and create images with. Now, the image behind me, I can't wait to show people what it really is. And what it really is, if you look at this thing, okay, all these images were created in the AI tool generate prompt. And what's interesting to me about them is I was just having some fun. Like, I wanted to see what would come up. Now, out of all the images that were created from a prompt, I'd say the lower left is like the coolest and maybe the most direct to the prompt, and maybe something that I could actually use as like an album cover. So how did I do it? Suspense. Bum, bum, bum. How did he do it? Well, I am going to leave that as a little bit of suspenseful. Why? Because what I want to do in this next segment here is that I'd like to play one of the clips from a show I did for the premium audience, okay? And again, I could not do it without you guys. The premium audience, thank you so much. I'm doing 2 extra interviews a week, and I had both Jamie Deluxe and Richard Andrew Grove on this week. We had great conversations, and this is just a small part of that conversation with Jamie Deluxe regarding Epstein. However, you know, that's something we can talk about, and I'm sure is going to be the subject of one of your upcoming videos, is that we do have some new revelations in the Epstein case because of this version.
Probably. I just did one, the last one, when the last article came out.
With Chomsky?
Yes, with Chomsky.
So tell people about that for those that don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, we already knew a lot of the people that he hung out with, and a lot of people that were actually accused. But this is just some newer stuff. Like, I didn't know about Chomsky before. I knew he was an asshole. I didn't know he was an Epstein asshole. And I know when he was telling people that if they didn't get whatever you want to call it, I know it's on YouTube, but if they didn't get, the heroin or whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, but
no, let's say this. He was very authoritarian during the COVID 1984 nightmare. The guy that literally came up with the term manufactured consent. But I made the argument that, look, this guy shouldn't have been trusted because he failed the litmus test of 9/11. And if you failed the litmus test of 9/11 and you're the anti-war guy and you're the intellectual from MIT, and you not only did so 20 years ago, Jamie, but you're still doing so now, you're a fraud, right? Like, I want to give someone like Tucker Carlson a pass now that he's talking about Building 7 for ripping David Ray Griffin apart in 2006. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you can come around. I think that some people have come around. Chomsky is not one of them, so it doesn't surprise me that he was involved with Epstein. They're saying between 2014 and 2017. This Virgin Island case is the biggest case in years. I would argue possibly bigger than the Prince Andrew, Virginia Giuffre Roberts case, although we're still waiting for documentation on that. Supposedly that was supposed to be released. That was 6-7 months ago we were talking about.
It just keeps getting kicked down the road.
Just keeps getting kicked down the road. Now, this one, we've seen documentation come out about Jess Staley talking about Beauty and the Beast and Snow White. Deutsche Bank paid out $75 million last week so certain people couldn't be deposed. Jamie Dimon is supposed to testify in this. And even the quote-unquote head of the snake himself, Les Wexner, they've tried to serve him several times, and his bodyguards have stopped them. This right now is the meat and potatoes case, and the latest leak, folks, is that it's alleged that Epstein was blackmailing Gates to continually fund his organizations, one of his foundations, or narc him out to his wife for his Russian mistress. So over the next few weeks, they've mentioned people also like Ehud Barak. Do you think that we're going to see more document dumps, or do you think that, for instance, it's going to be just whatever the Wall Street Journal wants us to see? Because we still haven't seen the raw documents, Jamie.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't know. I will say they keep dripping stuff over time. It's just like, it just feels like I've been waiting forever, you know. So, but we are getting a little bit of time. At least it keeps going. But it's like, well, did I think Bill Gates was blackmailed? No, I didn't fucking. Of course, I fucking thought Bill Gates was blackmailed. You know, they're all blackmailed. That's what he does. That's his job. So, you know.
I mean, that is his. That's the thing, man. Of course, that's it. That's part of his job, if not his main job, is to compromise all these people. And I think people kind of get lost in the idea that, you know, it all has to be with kids, because he also recruited people that were already overage into his network. Sarah Ronsum would be one of the.
There was a few, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
like
just one of the
20s.
victims that's come forward, right? And look. We have to realize that some of these people aren't going to do the most nefarious of things, but they're still going to compromise themselves in a way that they can be blackmailed. And it appears Gates is one of those people. I remember there was speculation out there. I think it was from NT Lawyer. That's crazydaysandnights.com. That Bill Gates, right before the Divorcington, stopped having what were like several day, maybe even week-long yacht parties with him and his cronies and high-level escorts. So that's a story that's kind of like on the outskirts. A lot of people I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm just saying it's out there, and it certainly sounds like billionaires. You know what I mean?
Well, and he had that other girlfriend that he was allowed to go with like once a year.
Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah. Honestly, though, I think it is worse. If we're hearing this now, it probably is worse. But I know.
Well, I would say it's probably worse overall, right? Like we have other people in this lawsuit that have been named for years, like Ehud Barak, that we don't know exactly what they've done.
Well, you know, he was publicly accused, but not by her. It was said that he was accused by Dershowitz, Turkey Tits, whatever you want to call him. He was on a show, and he said it, because I made a video back then. So
Dershowitz. Okay, so see, I was unaware it was that Dershowitz was the original info, which is interesting because Dershowitz was a lawyer for Epstein, still defends his defense of Epstein, is very much in the mainstream conservative talk show circles, and even on some of the alternative media. I mean, AJ interviewed him recently. The Tuckins was having him on. And look, I'm not saying that the guy is necessarily guilty of anything, but he did admit to going there. He said that it was an older woman who gave him a massage. I'm not sure how old they were on the island at any point. Like, older may have been like 25. I'm not sure. But this guy, bare minimum, defended the worst of evil and got evil the best deal possible. One in which, in 2007, 2008, in the Palm Beach case, even though they said he went to jail, he had full access to leave the jail on most days. He was leaving the jail on most days. He was going to private residences on most days. And the private investigator that was following him said young women or girls were going into those residences. Dershowitz did that. Let me repeat that. Dershowitz did that. So I've never had a high opinion of Alan Dershowitz. He is a lawyer by trade, which translates to liar by trade.
Get the whole story on Red Voice Media Premium using the link below, completely uncensored and ad-free.
redvoicmedia.com/uncensored. Try it out for $1 $1 for the first week. That exclusive, Richard Andrew Grove. We're going to play a clip from that. Both about an hour-long extras. You support this broadcast. You help get the 8 hours we put for free out to the rest of everybody. I do want to remind everybody that second hour is going to be available over at RVM Rumble.com. That's RVMRumble.com. We dare not do the second hour on YouTubins, because the YouTubins will come after you. Looking at Jamie's set, I even get just a wee bit nervous. But we can talk about that and much more on the flip side of this commercial. Don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe, and share.
Have you heard of Executive Order 14067? This little-known order implemented the digital dollar, the most sinister plan to control your spending. And it gets worse. In November, the federal government and banks began a test program to roll out the digital dollar. With this, privacy for all Americans will be lost forever. Imagine, the government can now track all of your spending. The government can tell you what you can and can't buy. The government could confiscate your cash. When digital currency was rolled out in China, Bloomberg wrote, quote, "This will lead to control like no other," end quote. The EU has announced that they are next, but it is already happening in America, which makes this wealth protection guide that American Alternative Assets just put out even more urgent. Project Hamilton, as this secret order is being called, might be the scariest order to happen to privacy and freedom in America since its founding, which makes this wealth protection guide so incredibly valuable right now. Move your money out of cash and into something that doesn't infringe on your privacy. You see, there is one legal IRS-proof loophole that could protect your IRA, 401k, and pension savings with gold and silver. And this free guide tells you exactly which steps you need to take right now to move part of your IRA or 401k into precious metals with no tax consequences. As this program rolls out, the sky's the limit for the level of government control that could be enforced on your money. Protect your savings and your privacy. But in the devastation ahead, American Alternative Assets is offering you something rare, a chance to protect your wealth and possibly even grow it.
So I'm being told that I just said one pain in Spanish, and that sounds about right. I did know uno, and I said Dolores, and that is one pain. So for one pain, you too can be premium. But seriously, I do want to thank all the people that have gone premium, especially locked it in for the year. We got another annual subscriber over the weekend. Every little bit rolling on this train helps. Constantly trying to push forward, and in doing so, we report on the stories that not only the mainstream, but a lot of the alternative miss. Revealed Bill Gates' younger Russian lover and her links to notorious Kremlin spy Anna Chapman. Oh! Now, this was published in the Daily Mail, I believe on Thursday, possibly Friday. Should have been a huge story across the board, especially if the media itself was really hooked on the Russia. Oh, Russia and the poot. They're our biggest threat. So if Russia perhaps compromised a guy like Bill Gates, who's so integral in our foreign and domestic policy, and really the policies around the globe through the United Nations and the World Health Organization, you would think, again, if the media were honest, they would have been like, oh my God, Bill Gates is a Russian asset. Oh my God. Russia! But you didn't see that, did you? In fact, can anyone point to me the mainstream outlets? Maybe Fox covered it. I don't know. I haven't been watching a lot of mainstream media. But did this get covered by CNN or CBS or MSNBC or any of them? You know what? Let's type in Bill Gates, Russia. Let's see how the Russia media did on this one. So Bill Gates, Russia. All right. So what do we got here? We got New York Post, Telegraph, Daily Mail, News.au. Weird. Just so weird. If you look at the Economic Times, perhaps 7 days. That doesn't look like it. No. So the newest story, let's go to more news on this one. Again, Post. Let's see. That's a week ago. That doesn't have anything to do with the Russian spy. There we are. Chapman's pretty notorious. She's said to, have bedded the pootster himself and been one of his many mistresses. Here we go. Here's Benzinga. Okay. I'm still not seeing it. Here we go. The Daily Beast. That's about the most left organization so far. And let's say this. I wonder if that's Katie Bricolette. Would be my guess. Nope. Isabella Ramirez. Okay. So listen. We want to crap on the Daily Beast all the time. They're not perfect. They do decent Epstein work, and they are more honest in many respects than others. That doesn't mean that I don't think that the reporting, for instance, of someone like Will Sommers isn't trash. It's trash. But, again, when the media doesn't want to touch this stuff, when, again, Russia, let's go by tools. Forget about relevance. Let's sort it by date. Okay, American Thinker saying MSN. There we go. And there finally. Okay, so there you go. Here's Microsoft Network, MSNBC, basically, with Benzinga. So they basically just republished the Benzinga article. Okay. No original reporting, but at least it's on their site. What else do we have? Surely CNN, right? Surely America's most trusted name in news, right? Right? Bueller? So there it is. If you go by date, this is going to be the first one right here. Right here. So just look. I mean, obviously ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC. I don't even see a Fox News headline. And really, the Daily Mail is, that's Murdoch conglomerate. Still not in this country. Weird. But the Russians have infiltrated everything. Can you imagine if it was the same story again with Trumsky and Hutch here? If Trumsky was photographed with his 20-year-old Russian bridge player girlfriend who's in photographs with Anna Chapman, notorious Russian spy. Everywhere. The propaganda would be everywhere. I mean, they still got this Johnny nonsense up over at FBI.gov. Wanted for interference in the U.S. elections. First of all, none of this is a crime. Conspiracy to commit an offense against the United States, false registration of a domain name, aggravated identity theft, conspiracy to commit money laundering. And you better believe those are the same type of things that they went after the actual troll farm with that had nothing to do with Russia. The Mackey microchip network. That's the reality. But Russia! Russia. We're going to get them. There they are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Almost as many as the disinformation dozen. We got them. This is the big GRU paper. 12 Russian military intelligence officers for their alleged role in interfering with the 2016 United States election. I mean, cartoon level. Cartoon level. This is what's up on the FBI's page. How many years later? And then again, you've got Gates in what appears to be an over decades-long relationship, probably a lot more than that, with some 20-year-old Russian bridge player who's buddy-buddy with one of their top female honeypot spies. Nothing, just no big deal. Bermas, why are you even talking about it? Come on. Come on now. All right. I want to move forward into the realm of AI. So, we're going to be doing these prompts in the next segment after the commercial break. I'm going to show you how we made that thumbnail. And I think that some of you are going to get a kick out of it because what I did to make all of those images, to generate them, and we'll do some live generation here, is I simply thought of a band name and then I thought of a Muppet. Okay? thought of a band name, and I thought of a Muppet. So, spoiler alert, the image of the frogs. Okay, let's bring this up really just quick again. This one in the corner behind my head, the image of the frogs. Spoiler alert again, that was from me typing in Metallica. Okay, you ready? Metallica Kermit the Frog. So, a band and a Muppet. Now, I ran into some trouble, and it was really bizarre to me that this would be trouble. I ran into trouble a couple times with the AI, which I thought was a little bit bizarre, but at the same time kind of let me know that this kind of prompt technology, Lord knows where it's going to go. But I was trying to do Gonzo. So, Gonzo is a Muppet. You can't type Gonzo in because it is associated with pornography. So there are certain things that it just bans you. I was trying to do System of a Down Gonzo. And it just would not. That's against the terms of service. Okay, that's bizarre that word that could mean a lot of things that are completely and totally non-sexual and actually come out of pop culture journalist and quote-unquote gonzo journalist. Why can't I? Hunter S. Thompson. Okay, but that's no bueno. You cannot do that on YouTube. And I came across that a couple times. So I was also messing around with a photograph of Jeffrey Epstein. I was trying to see if I could use the AI prompt to make him more look like a devil or give him devil horns. Instead, what it was really good at doing, that stuff not so great at doing. What it was really good at doing was like getting rid of somebody in the background, much like your phone would do, and then replacing it with whatever you put in the prompt. So, because we have all seen, at least I have seen, and I know a lot of you out there, Bermas Brigade, have seen some of the paintings and photographs, if you will, that were in the New York estate and the Palm Beach estate of Epstein. I was just trying to get a painting of a nude woman, right? Nothing graphic or anything like that. We could have gone to Victorian era, whatever. Wouldn't let me do that either. So I think nude is banned, gonzo is banned, etc., etc. Well, there are more powerful AI tools out there, and one of the more powerful ones I've seen is Midjourney. I'm probably going to subscribe to Midjourney. The thing is with these bots, which I didn't realize at first, there's not a lot of standalone software, so you have to join Discord. And I joined Discord years ago for something else, and I think that I even had to do one for like a Rockfin Ray meeting. I haven't used it in forever. I know Discord's the hip and cool thing with all the game streamers. It's not really something that I'm into, but in order to get Midjourney to work, a higher end prompted AI tool, and one in which we did some really cool stuff with Zach Voorhees, the Google whistleblower, on the premium from 2+ weeks ago, which is now, by the way, available free. You can watch it on Rumble and Rockfin. I didn't put it on YouTube because I think that there were a few things that we discussed on there, including Shady Hook, that we just can't talk about on YouTube. So that's available for free. But what we did is we generated some different images based on a prompt of, I think it was, he wrote something like a newscaster scaring children. And we got these like cartoon things. It was far from perfect, but it was pretty damn impressive. And the other impressive thing that was available there that's not available in the Chat GPT type program, or I mean, it's not even a Chat GPT. I guess you'll see it. It's, again, text prompt automation. Is that it sometimes was a kid, it was sometimes a regular newscaster. You could just go to the one you liked, say, click on it, and say you want more like that one and get that. You can't do that in Photoshop. They're all pretty random. However, what you're looking at is AI created an alternate timeline where historical figures were not only aware of smartphones and Twitter, but they were obsessed with them. Here are 11 incredible viral selfies of our history that you won't believe existed. because they didn't. So obviously, what you're looking at here is Freddie Mercury with his selfie cam that did not exist at Wembley Stadium during arguably one of the greatest and shortest live performances of all time. So on the flip of this, when we come back, we're going to talk more AI. We're going to go through more of these prompts. We're going to do some live Photoshop. And then I'm going to take your prompts live on the air and also put them out there. But before that, a word from our sponsor and a short clip from what? I'll tell you what. From our Richard Andrew Grove interview that is now available over at Premium.
We love the internet, but the internet is tracking everything you do. Take control of your online privacy with IPVanish. People with malicious intent are everywhere, watching you. Criminals can hack your Wi-Fi, while broadband providers and advertisers monitor your data. With IPVanish on your device, your internet activity is encrypted. No one can see what you're doing. Your location, your connection, completely hidden. Protect your internet privacy today with IPVanish.
I came into this as somebody. Well, let's start because again, the Zionist, the Z word. You know,
yeah.
What I did not understand and probably wouldn't grasp for many years throughout the group because I had such a negative connotation of what it really was when I saw that the people that were using the Zionists many times were obviously anti-Semites and hated Jews. Period. So let's just start
Ignorant
there.
people, right?
What?
Yeah.
Very angry, hateful people that were ignoring certain parts of information and pushing everything on Israel when Israel did have a legitimate role and Zionism is a legitimate thing. But a guy like me who's all of a sudden being accused of these things, I don't have anything to do with it. Dylan doesn't have anything to do with it. We don't even know what it is. Are automatically turned off by that group. And it delegitimizes it and it shows you the ugly side early. So you don't even want to kind of touch it. That's a big, big thing. Because look, if you watch my film, Fabled Enemies, obviously, I dedicate a large portion to the Israeli connections because it does very much fit into the puzzle. But you cannot ignore the ISI, Pakistani, Bin Laden network. You cannot ignore the CIA consulate in Saudi Arabia. You cannot ignore the U.S. drills and military base connections. And you cannot ignore the Wall Street connection as well with the insider trading. And obviously, when you say lie hop, that is let it happen on purpose, but people were warned, right? So people got calls that day, as you know, didn't show up to work that day. That was a phenomenon. Somehow people were on Cipro within the Bush administration prior to 9/11 as well and prior to the anthrax attacks. So there was this, they knew something was coming. And then there was the MyHop, made it happen on purpose. And so the mantra became inside job in a lot of cases. And to an extent, that has to be true. We know that those drills facilitated the attacks. People within the government protected the hijackers. Even 20 plus years later, more CIA confirmation. Okay.
Well, you interviewed Michael Springman back in the day.
Yes.
Who ran the consulate out of Jeddah and Alex Station, and they gave the guys all the passports. Like it was approved from on high.
And for those that don't know, he blew the whistle prior to 9/11, and he left, and he found out that the reason that he was he didn't directly give these guys passports. 17 of the 19 hijackers get their passports out of there. But he's like, this is basically a CIA op to get our agents or our sympathizers or our assets overseas in this network. And then you see the connections at the Florida and California schools, to say the least. That's bottom line. And then when we get to the Central Intelligence Agency baseline, right now, the Khalid al-Madar information, okay, that coincides also with renting from and living with an FBI informant. They act like they were ignorant of each other. I would say they worked in conjunction with one another, obviously. But still, everybody has basically ignored the fact Deborah Albritton called the CIA on Walid al-Shehri, which is another cell and another group. Why would nothing be done if they were not protected? And then they're shadowed by this large Israeli network that, lo and behold, at the time is actually getting picked up prior to 9/11, seems to not only be shadowing many of the cells of the quote-unquote hijackers, but setting up base within mall kiosks and as art students at universities. And they're penetrating all sorts of government buildings.
And then they had the art project up in the trade centers.
Well, all right. So that's a Dutch art project.
Oh, Dutch art project.
So that's Gelatin B, and whether or not, that's a whole nother can of worms. Whether or not that ends up being connected to Israeli intelligence is up in the air. But there's a great documentary out there called We All Live in Public Now with a guy named Josh Harris, which is one of these initial internet billionaires who loses everything and predicts the surveillance state and YouTube and all that on a level unbeknownst to many, and had a cult-like phenomenon going on just before New Year's 2000 that was broken up by the police. And also, one of the participants of that experiment was Nico Hopt, who was interrogated by a former CIA interrogations officer in one of the interrogation rooms. You can't make this stuff up.
Get the whole story on Red Voice Media Premium using the link below, completely uncensored and ad-free.
redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. If you enjoyed that clip and you want more, we talked about a lot of great stuff. Really, Richard Andrew Grove is a student of history, and that interview, honestly, will be as relevant today as it is a week from now, as it is 2 months from now, as it is 5 years from now. Because we go into kind of the deep history of a lot of these organizations and individuals and how they interconnect. So Richard Andrew Grove, great guy. I actually did a hour on his program last night, the 7-hour podcast Grand Theft World, where him and his partner break down a plethora of issues outside of just what you're hearing on the day-to-day, even in the alternative. I'll probably end up posting that conversation as well on some of my social media there. So here's Walt Disney with his selfie stick. Okay, there it is. He's at Disneyland. It's got that nice fisheye look. There's Walt. Marilyn Monroe with a bunch of sailors and suitors behind in their little bow ties. And you notice that this guy and this guy look very similar. Again, the AI, even though it's quite impressive at times, there's certain things about it that obviously need a lot of work. Here he is, Sir Isaac Newton, Mr. Gravity himself. Look at that, under the apple tree. Salvador Dali, famous painter, and really, I mean, everybody's seen the clocks, but always someone who interested me as a kid growing up around art. And don't get me wrong, I know about old Dolly and the Rothschild parties. In fact, let's bring that up. This isn't AI. So Dolly Rothschild parties. Before we get into the AI prompts. Party animals, the Rothschild Surrealist Ball. So a lot of this, as you can see, is actually very bizarre, but Salvador Dali's right there, and he inspired a lot of this artwork. So there's Dali, multiple hats, the top hats, what appears to be a bloodied woman, mannequin with roses on what could be interpreted as some type of a casket. Really, people looking like something out of a Pink Floyd album cover. Here's yet another one of those hats, and now we've got the horns and the animal heads. Yeah, no biggie. Those are the type of parties that I like to go to. Just really. It's a lot more of those. These are real. These are real. These are fake. And reality is going to it's going to get more and more bizarre. I'd argue that the Elvis Presley one is actually one of the more poor ones. And perhaps that is because there are so many Elvis Presley impersonators and ones that don't necessarily look exactly like Elvis, that the AI is having trouble depicting the actual Elvis Presley. But there he is. There's Elvis at a big concert of his. Nikola Tesla, I'd say that one's actually pretty damn spot on in his famous laboratory. There is Joan of Arc. How about that? Charlie Chaplin. Again, we played that clip from The Great Dictator in the intro to the program. King Leonidas, forget your 300, but they're about ready to go into battle. And he's got his iPhone to take a selfie with. Julius Caesar. There's the C's. And I think that, I don't know why they showed Tesla twice, but there we go. Pretty wild, right? So let's look at some of the prompts. And again, in the final segment, I am going to go to your questions and comments. If you're in YouTube, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Remember, second hour free over at rvmrumble.com. Just look for the stream also on Rumble. That is the almost 12-hour stream. It has the RVM logo. It'll have my name in the beginning. And then it's me. It's Chad Canton. It's Wayne Dupree. It's Ray Dietrich. The Juice Box Bros. Big lineups all day long. Don't want to miss it. All right. So, as I was teasing before and showing before, each one of these images, and we're going to take them one by one from the prompt. So let's go right here to this one. So these come in a non-rasterized form. What do I mean by that? So basically, they're vector-based. Bring that over really quickly. They're vector-based, which means they can be resized to just about everything, which is important for you graphic designers out there to understand the difference between web and print. So if I pick up on this, as you can see over my head, there's a new text prompt. Okay, and from that text prompt, I typed in Metallica and Kermit. Okay, let me get myself out of the way here. Let me show you what else they came up with for Metallica and Kermit. Like I said, 2 out of the 3. Gave me that. That was pretty cool in the corner. I didn't mind that. And then this weird thing. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit generate again. So people can see it's going to give me another 3 options. And if you look, here are the variations over here on the side. And let's see what we get for the next 3 with Metallica and Kermit the Frog. Okay. Some kind of weird butt thing. That's stupid. Now it's like, what is that? That's very bizarre. Like it, because it saw this here, this stuff, and that's the thing. The AI looks at the rest of your image to try to make something. So it picked up on a green frog of some sort, not quite Kermit. And then because it saw, you see that? Because the AI saw basically the image above it, you notice it tried to make that connection with this image. So the AI does what it thinks you want it to do based on the rest of the image and the prompt. And when I did this one was completely empty. Okay, completely empty. In fact, the vast majority of these, if not all of them, were completely empty when I did them. So let's grab this one. And this one, I typed in Dropkick Murphys Muppet. Dropkick Murphys Muppet. Okay, and that's what we got. We got that blue one. Let's take these off right here. So let's take the text off so everybody can see this. Had these weird ones there. And some kind of like Dropkick Murphys. So now I've got, bad plastic toys kicking each other in the face. This is the generation. Again, get your questions, comments, and your prompts in there. Make something with the band 311. Okay, I'll type. How about we'll type in on the flip side 311, and somebody give me a Muppet I didn't use yet. I used quite a bit. Fozzie Bear. That's Black Sabbath. Miss Piggy in the corner. But come up with something original. We are going to come back on the flip of this, play with it a little more, show you, obviously, there's a lot of cool things going on here, but there are a lot of limitations as well. We should recognize both. But the biggest thing is we have to recognize that the AI is really dependent on what you associate it with and bring into it and what it sees, right? That's a big deal. So as we've talked about before, Garbage in, garbage out. We're going to come back on the flip side. Final segment in the first hour, rvmrumble.com, rvmrumble.com to check out that second hour for free.
Folks, we have a huge problem on our hands. A banking crisis is spiraling, and it's all thanks to the current administration's reckless spending, sky-high inflation, and massive interest rate hikes. Now, these banks are suffering, and guess what? They can legally seize your savings without notice to bail themselves out. That's right. Thanks to a sneaky law passed back in 2008, it's now legal for banks to take your hard-earned money, including your retirement savings, to save themselves. Now, this could leave your retirement accounts decimated, and you paying the price for their disastrous policies. Take action now before it's too late. Now, this guide will show you how to defend your money and keep your retirement savings safe from the banking crisis and the current administration's financial fiasco. This simple and 100% legal strategy may help you protect your retirement against higher taxes, soaring inflation, and a volatile economy. So don't let your golden years be ruined by someone else's mistakes. To secure your free wealth protection guide and safeguard what's rightfully yours, don't wait. The time to act is now.
All right, we are back. Final segment in the first hour. Remember, that second hour is free over at rvmrumble.com. You want to support the broadcast, it is redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. Try it for $1 today. Lock it in at $10 a month, or get that year subscription for $100. Save $20 and let them know Jason Bermas sent you. Okay, I want to start with a clean slate here. So we're going to go with new, 1920 by 1080. Let's create that. Okay, drag it out a little bit. Drag it out a little bit. Oh, what am I dragging? I'm dragging the wrong thing. I think that I'm grabbing on that. I'm dragging on the wrong one. Dragging on the wrong thing. So there we are. We're all alone. There's nothing there. I'm going to make another layer. Get rid of that layer right there. I'm going to even zoom out a little bit. Get it away from my head, so everybody can check it out. Okay. I saw some suggestions in there. We're going to do 311. I'm going to type band. Okay, so 311 band, scooter, and skeeter. So we're dueling Muppets. We're scooter, we're skeeter, we're 311 band. We're going to hit generate. And here comes the generation. I'm seeing people want me to do Klaus Nutzschwab, Hitler. I don't even know if Hitler's allowed. That might be against the terms and services. I'm finding out as I go along. Gonzo. You know, the top left was something with Fozzie Bear. I can't remember. Okay. So 311 band scooter. We've got a couple scooters and a weird band-like. I mean, the faces are like the weirdest and the worst. But let's see what else we got. Okay, now we've got 4 scooters. There's not 3. It's like we got hot dog fingers in the background, but someone's got a guitar. Okay, the band is there. Let's see. And then it's Slipknot. Playing. It's weird that the one scooter isn't. It's like a unicycle with like a broken light bulb on the top. Very bizarre. Let's generate 3 more. Okay, and I wonder if I'd taken the band out. It'd be fun not putting the band name in. Anybody else in the crowd got a band name for me? Do we have a band name? Come on, give me something. The one I did over there was Tool in a Muppet. Okay, so now we got something that's more like an album cover. That's definitely something that you could see at the New York Museum of Modern Art. This tried to do something with the numbers and whatnot. And now we've got a couple of scooters, and we've got fingers that like these 2 things might look like an 11. I don't know. Amber is the color of Bermas's shirt. Ha 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 ha. Amber is is one of the singles from 311. Actually, 311 was in the Quad Cities several months ago. buddy of mine actually took his daughter over to the casino to see them. As I look at you guys right here and I wait for more prompts, I'm going to get rid of that. We'll go over and show you some of the other prompts here in the AI Madness. Second hour, I'm going to play some John Kerry footage where John Kerry warned in 2009 that we were 5 years away from the Arctic ice caps melting and us all being in a disaster. Experts agree in 5 years if we don't do something. Experts agree. And then in fear-mongering on the latest propaganda and even incorporating SpaceX into it. Oasis, Oscar the Grouch. Oscar the Grouch, not officially a Muppet, but I believe he's part of the Henson family. So we're gonna go with it. We're gonna do that right now. Let's prompt it up. Oasis, Oscar the Grouch. I'm just gonna copy and paste it. I love it. This should be interesting. I'm wondering what this is gonna come up with. How famous is Oscar? Are we going to get a Muppet-like Grouch? So again, let's select the whole thing. Make sure it's blank so it doesn't have anything to do. We'll hit the generate fill. And there it is. Oasis, Oscar the Grouch in it. And we're going to generate. And we're going to generate. What I did find interesting is I was messing around with Henry Kissinger. And if I type in Washington, D.C., that'll give me something. So there we go. Oasis, Oscar the Grouch. There's a great example. It loves to make artificial environments. Okay? So because I typed the word oasis, it gave me a green oasis. Okay? And there is a pelican, actually a very convincing looking pelican with some grass. And here we go. We got another oasis. So Oasis has taken over in this one. Let's change the prompt. Let's go Oasis. But now let's type in winter time. So now it should give us some kind of a wintry oasis, I would assume. Let's see what we got. We're generating. I'm going to be playing with this AI forever because it is a tool. It's just like one of those things I remember, 25 years ago, there you go, when I first started playing with Photoshop and learning the selection tools and the paintbrush tools and the difference between vector and rasterized graphics, etc. There you go. So landscapes, it's actually pretty amazing at. And I knew this because I had taken one of my thumbnails. Let's see if we can open the recent thumbnail here. What do I want? Nubian, Neuters, Epstein AI, Gorilla AI. No, that's not it. I want to bring up, we'll do it live. Here it is right here, Ray Day. Because by bringing up Ray Day, this one here, as you're going to see, there's a bunch of faces that I can grab. And I had a Henry Kissinger thumbnail not so long ago. So I brought the Kissinger over. Let's do that right now. There he is. There's old Henry. And what we'll do with old Henry is we'll make a big old selection again. And now we're going to type in Capitol Hill in D.C. Hill, D.C. And we're going to generate. And honestly, the last time I did Washington, D.C., it did a really good job of giving me some options of what would appear to be a photograph in Washington, D.C. I wonder what World Trade Center will come up with. I mean, maybe I'll type in World Trade Center attack. And there it is right there. Look at that. Boom. Let's put it behind Henry. Let's see what the other generation is. Okay, so that one there gave me the Capitol. Boom. Now, it's not super impressive. Like, I don't like that the clouds don't look that good. I'll just do this. Let's just select that, hit shift, select this, and I could have just used the other selection tool, but let's see how well it does because the selection's not perfect. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate fill again. Light clouds. And generate. Let's see what we got. Boom, 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 boom. AI Photoshop. Here we go. But, and by the way, I've got a pretty beefy PC. Not that it's taking too long, but I mean, I've got 64 gigabytes of RAM. An i7. There you go. Look at that. And it did a pretty decent job. Didn't cut off the building right there. It generated a new layer. There's the one where I guess you could argue it didn't do a great job on the right-hand side. Added this thing in there, although the clouds don't look that bad. But there you go, clouds. And this tool is just going to get better and better and better and better. Okay? Period. All right, we've had some fun with that with JFK and 9/11. Ooh, that one. Let's see if we can put that stuff in. That's a good question, because I'm not quite sure what can. Like, I don't know the Twin Towers either. I'm going to type in WTC attack. Let's see what we get. WTC attack. Oh, that's against the guidelines. Wow. So is everything 9/11 unallowed? Let's see. 9/11 aftermath. Is that allowed? 9/11 aftermath is. Maybe attack isn't. I'm going to type in WTC 9/11 and see what we get. Maybe that's going to be again it. Okay. 9/11 aftermath gave me that. That's weird. Okay, so that's supposed to be some kind of a look at a car. Now, if you told me that was just like a weird pic of a car in some black and white coffee table book, I'd believe it. And there is a weird thing right there. Okay. 9/11. Let's see. WTC. Can't write attack. Although I'm sure you can write attack in some other ways, shape, and form. Like, and that also goes to show you the censorship on AI is really going to be terrible. It's going to be bad, bad, bad. Okay, so at 9/11 attack gives me that and that. So 9/11 wants to do car things. How ridiculous is that? Like, attempt at a car. That's so bizarre. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we want WTC and Bush. Let's see what we get there. I doubt we're going to get anything President Bush, but who knows? You can't really make Zelensky a rat because sure, is he a little bit rat-like? You better believe it. So there it is, WTC Bush. It went right to the Bush thing. Just gave me a whole bunch. And that's the thing. Nature is going to, especially, like if I type in palm tree or palm trees, it's going to give me that. So the sky's the limit with this tool. You got to get better with the prompting. There's a lot going on there. Some of the other stories that I wanted to hit, that I haven't hit yet, that we will in that second hour. Musk's Neuralink says the FDA approved human trials. So now we got the human trials of the DARPA tech that's becoming commercialized by the new hero. Oh, he's saying just basic things about freedom of speech, speaking out against overpopulation, just the basics, but he still wants to put a brain chip in you. We're going to discuss that and so much more in that second hour. So YouTube, come on over, rvmrumble.com. That's rvmrumble.com for the free and full second hour. Final word from our sponsor, everybody.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets, sleepwear, dog beds.
Whoa, Charles. Everyone now can get MyPillow products at huge discounts at MyPillow.com. That's right. Now's the time to go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of our 3-in-1 sale. We're bringing you exciting new products, overstock specials, and closeout deals you won't find anywhere else. For example, when you buy one of our brand new MyPillow 2.0s, you get another one absolutely free. And with our overstock sale, you save 50% on our luxurious Giza Dream bed sheets. That's as low as $29.99 for the best sheets ever. And with our biggest closeout special, you get our all-season slippers for only $35. Or our sandals and slides for just $25. Quantities are limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Once they're gone, they're gone. And YouTube